Okay, it's been a while since we mixed this up, so we better just give it a little quick shake here. Now, what is this going to look like when it's dry, I was wondering, because it's a primer. And normally, primer goes underneath. You don't actually see the primer, you see whatever you put on top of it. But we actually did use this as the final coat, if you remember, on the railings. The railings came off of these sheets. So we do have a perfect sample of what it's going to look like once it's dry. So I think we can probably hold it up against the mast there and we'll have a good idea of what it's going to look like. I can tell already it's going to be, this is a little darker. Now, because the edge of this photo etch is sharp, I don't want to accidentally cut our easy line and set us back another day. So yeah, you can see here that it's just a little bit darker, but I think if I have it so it's not running all over the yard arm, we're not going to really notice it too much. At least I hope. Now, I am not what you would call gifted at painting here, but I'm wondering if possibly this brush is maybe too big. Maybe I should be using my smaller brush, because what I'm afraid is going to happen is I'm going to end up getting too much of it onto the easy line itself. Now, I know that I can't help but get some on the easy line. What I really need right now is somebody to walk in here and say, "Here, Ron, if you stand about 6 feet away from me, I'll paint that for you." Yeah. Now, I know it just sounded like I'm not enjoying what I'm doing here, sort of complaining a little bit about the fact that I'm going to have to paint this really delicate wire. And I think it's a case of I'm not real good at it. So it sounds like I'm complaining, but I think more likely I'm scared. Now, our little brushes here. This one here I call my favorite brush, but it's pretty wide. This was the one I was planning on using. And this one here is the smallest brush I got. I think it's the smallest one. And what I like is that right at the very end here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you want to call them bristles, I think they're actually little hairs, some special little hairs. I don't know if they're synthetic or if they're actually from some little animal. See if I can move this up a little bit here. Yeah, if I can get them to spread apart, maybe I'll be able to see just how tiny they are. Anyway, it does a really nice job as long as the paint remains fluid. Once it starts to thicken up a little bit, well, game over. Anyway, that's the one I'm going to use. We have not had a rabbit update lately, and maybe it's time to say how things are going. Well, this morning, probably about half an hour before I took these pictures, I'd put out some carrots. And I looked out the front window and I saw a little rabbit hopping across the front lawn, and I knew it was headed towards the side of the house where the carrot pile was. And sure enough, I looked out the side window and there it was. And I got to thinking, I should stick on my big telephoto lens and see if I can snap a few pictures. I need to practice anyway. And so I did. And this is what I got. Now, because I used the corner of the house to sort of steady the front of the lens, and it kind of worked. I knew exactly how far the rabbit was from me, and I got curious, so I measured it later. And the front of the lens was 15 feet, 3 inches from the rabbit. Mind you, the rabbit had gone, but some of the carrots were still there, so I was able to measure it. Now, those of you who are camera buffs, you might be sort of curious. Now, the first few pictures I took with the lens backed right off at 150 millimeter. It was shooting wide open, which I think is 5.6 or something like that, or is it 4 maybe? I think it goes from 4 at 150 millimeter and stops down to around 6 point something at 600 millimeter. Anyway, I'm giving you more information that almost 99% of you want to know, right? this is what I've got. I had kind of fun. This was fun. I don't know if I'm going to keep feeding these rabbits all summer or what's going to happen here. Anyway, let's get back to our painting. I can well imagine that some of you are going to give a great big sigh right about now because we're not going back to the painting. I got to fooling around with these photos a little bit here. And I don't know if you remember me saying way back, and I don't know why or when it was, but I said that when I take a picture of an animal, I like to be able to see my reflection in its eye. Now you got to remember, the front of the lens was 15 feet 3 inches. I was probably 17 feet away from the animal. And if you look carefully, you can actually see me standing at the corner of the house, sort of peeking around, silhouetted. Now, and also please remember, this is a handheld shot, no tripod. It probably could have been better, although I don't think a whole lot. Well, okay, now for those of you who are wondering how the rabbits are doing, well, they're still doing. I don't know if there's as many as last summer or not, but anyway, let's like I said a while ago, let's try and get back to this. And back to this is this. When I was editing out those scenes on these brushes just before the rabbit interlude, I was noticing I couldn't really see the individual bristles or hairs on this brush here. And I thought, now that's really strange because I know they're there, but I'm not really seeing them. This one here you could see. So I'm going to put on the super macro and just see if we can see these and figure out, are they hairs or are they synthetic? I think they're hairs. Maybe some of you professional painters would know. Anyway. So what do you think we got going on here? Does that look like hairs? Or is that synthetic? I have put 5 drops of the primer into that special little cup here. And what I want to try and do is only touch the metal. Maybe now is the time when it would actually be better if I was to have the camera hanging from overhead. Well, that's not too bad. I don't know what it's going to look like from the other side. I'll put the macro lens on and we'll move in on this one up here. Okay, I have rinsed my little brush out in isopropyl here because by the time I got my macro lens on, it had kind of dried off. I'm probably going to have to do that in between. Now, I don't think I need to worry too much about underneath here. Alright, just make sure I got the other side. Okay, let's leave well enough alone. I think it looks pretty good from my perspective, and I'm actually looking pretty close. Once again, nothing like you're looking. Okay, we are now at the other end of that same antenna. Let's see if I can get this little piece right here. I may have put too much on my brush here. It's hard to hold steady here, and my reach is so long. I should really rig up a steady rest. Okay. I think I got it. Okay, once again, let's, what about right here? Maybe I should wait until it's a little drier before I try to do the second coat thing. Anyway, that looks a lot better when you compare it to the one on the other side anyway. Now, as I mentioned, I am cleaning out my brush in between each one of these little wires here. Oh, I got it on the line. Okay, well, too late now. Okay, I think I pretty much got it. If I get in the back here now. I know you can't see that, but I would say it's pretty good. Okay, we have all 4 wires painted now. On this side, that is. I'm going to swing the ship around and do the other side. This video is going to be a little bit shorter than some we've had because I was doing other things this morning. One of them was I was Skyping with my brother. It's Mother's Day, and we were sort of reminiscing about Mom and so on. It was kind of nice. At least it's Mother's Day in Canada. It may not be where you are. Anyway, thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.